On this video, I'll be showing us two types of entries I use in taking my trade after I have found my strategy. So my strategy is I want to see a break of structure to the upside, and then after the break of structure to the upside, I want to make sure that it had swept some lows, like let's say this low, giving me like a fake change of character, which I usually mark as X, mark it as X. Good. So, and this is my BOS. Then I want to now use the block that caused the break of structure, which is likely this block. So the first entry type of entry I use is other blocks. I make use of other blocks. Okay, to take my trades. So how I identify the other block is after I've identified the structure of the trend, the break of structure, my sweep of liquidity before the break of structure, the block that caused that break of structure to the upside. So the market moved from here to here. This block is the one that caused the break of structure to the upside. So being that that is the block that I'm seeing, I use it as my entry, and I'm just gonna put my trade here from that block, target at least maybe this height or 3R, put my stop loss just below the low, and target at least 3R. All right, now another way I use in making sure that this block I'm using is the right block is I move to a higher time frame so that the candle noise can reduce. It can be lesser. The higher you go in the time frames, the lesser the candles. So when I do that, okay, the candles begin to reduce, and then I can now see the blocks I want to use properly. Now this is the 3 minutes. Let's go to 5 minutes and see. Let's see how reduced the candles are gonna be. So on the 5 minutes time frame, you can now see that the candles have reduced properly. So I can now use this whole block as my other block for the entry, and I'll also target my 3R, as long as that's the only block I'm seeing there that caused my break of structure. So that's for the other block. The other type of entry I use is my fib, and I use that with the other block, but I also use it independently. What do I mean? I pick up my fib and I draw it. If I'm buying, I draw from down to where the market broke structure, not to the high. This is how most people use their fib, but I don't use my fib like that. I draw it to where the market broke structure and I extend it. So any other block I see that is between 0.5 down to 1, which is my discount zone. I follow me. The discount zone is from 0.5 down to 1. My premium zone is from 0.5 upwards. So any other block I see from 0.5 down to 1, I can use it and put my stop loss under the protected liquidity. Then another thing I do is that if I don't want to use the other block, I can just use only my fib. So let's say I don't want to use the other block, and I was on my 1 minute time frame. Let's go back to the 1 minute. So let's say I'm on the 1 minute time frame. I don't use the other block. What am I going to do? I'm just going to draw my fib from here, from the bottom to the break of structure, and then I'll extend it. Once market taps into 0.5 to 0.6, I'm taking my trade. So I can just take my trade from 0.5, then put my stop loss just under here or around here, just somewhere. It should be larger. I can put my stop loss. The best place to put your stop loss is under the protected liquidity, and then I target at least 3 risk to reward ratio. So these are the two types of entries I use once I've found my strategy and I want to take my trade. I make use of the fib and I make use of the other block. I rarely identify the inducements before the POI and all that. Once I identify the block that caused the break of structure, I take my trade or I use my fib. Now I love reducing noises in my chart. So once I'm on the 1 minute time frame and I've done my analysis, I've identified my change of character and all that. In fact, I'm anticipating a sell on Ethereum right here. Is a nice place to sell from. So once I've identified my change of character, are you following me? And I have seen that this market is going to go up. I just move to the higher time frame to reduce the noise of the charts, so I can know where the major order block I'm looking for is, or I can use my fib for that. So if this video was helpful, give me a like, and also subscribe to my channel. I'll be dropping more information about how to trade properly. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.